What up, guys? Nick G here, doing a video today about the owl, and the symbolism behind it, and what this symbol means. As far as I've come to understand it, I'm open to other inputs and other interpretations, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything. This is just how I've come to understand it, and it makes sense to me. And I hope it makes sense to you. So I was always told the owl would symbolize wisdom, right? Wisdom. And it's actually much more than that, because what it is, it's wisdom in a predatory sense. It's wisdom with concealing knowledge and keeping it away from others to create a power differential. For example, an owl can see, it's a nocturnal creature, it can see in the dark, and it preys at night, and it preys on those that can't see in the dark. And if you are familiar with any ancient teachings or esoteric interpretations of ancient teachings, light, the word light, is interchangeable with knowledge or information or understanding. You know, we have phrases nowadays called, like, for example, someone will say, oh, I was in the dark about that. Or, I took a shot in the dark. Like, that means I made an attempt without knowing what I was really doing. Or I was in the dark, as in, I didn't know about it. I wasn't aware of it. So, obviously, dark is the absence of light. So, light is like information. It's like knowledge. It's like understanding. So, if the owl can see in the dark, and others can't, and it preys on them for it, it's like, and it's a deliberate concealing of knowledge. I hate to call this symbol evil, because it's a lot more complicated than that, but it sort of is. And what makes it even more crazy to me is, if you look up things like Bohemian Grove, you'll see politicians, influential people meet up in a forest, in the woods, and gather around a giant stone owl. Whether or not you take this stuff seriously, there's people that have great power in this nation and in the world that take esoteric knowledge and symbolism very seriously. And I'm not saying, like, oh, it's, you know, like, the owl or the symbol itself has some kind of power to it. I don't really know about that. I'm just telling you about the meaning behind it and how it's kind of like metaphorically true. And you look at the people that meet up at Bohemian Grove, and there's a giant stone owl. I'm going to include pictures of all this in this video. And the people that meet at those kinds of places are exactly the ones that would subscribe to the definition, the idea of the symbol that I'm telling you about. You know, they purposely put out misinformation and lies in the media. They want to dissuade you from looking into the truth. And I mean, ultimately, people are complicit in that, and that's why I don't really want to say it's evil, because people do it to themselves, and that's their understanding of it. So they're like, if people do it to themselves and they don't really care, then how am I doing anything wrong? But obviously, the more you know, the more efficiently you can maneuver in the world, and the more knowledge you have, the more you can see. And obviously you need light to see. In the dark you can't see. Like for example, I've given this example in other videos, but if you know a lot about something, when you look at it, you see all the other parts of it that someone who doesn't know a lot about it might not see. And by, like, I gave the example, like, why is the sky blue, you know, and that's more like a scientific approach, which is fine, but it's like, if you know the science behind the sky being blue, you'll see other dynamics of the sky being, like, you'll see other dynamics at play that other people won't realize based on their lack of information or their lack of knowledge. You'll actually see it. Like, you can see without using your eyes. You can, I don't know, and, so this is, in my mind, this is sort of what makes the symbol evil, because it's like purposefully concealing and hiding knowledge, because they're a predator, and why would they want the prey to be on a level playing field? Why would they want the prey to have any know-how to defend itself or to get in any position to where they could fight back. And I mean, of course, though, you got to flip it around and take responsibility. People don't really care because we just scroll through. We keep giving our attention to nonsense instead of to like reading a book or watching people that are actually trying to teach us something. We keep giving it to like people who can hardly even put together a sentence. But yeah, and then you flip again. I'm putting this picture in here as well. You put on the dollar bill. There's an owl on the dollar bill, very small in the corner. I wonder why that's there. This symbol is, and even, and like, I'm not even saying Drake's a bad guy, but he uses the symbol for his OVO stuff too. And it's just like, and my point is, I don't believe he thinks about the stuff he raps about. Like, I think he understands there's a market and what people want to hear, so he's going to provide. And of course, I'm just saying, audience, take responsibility. That's my ultimate point, but just let me complain for a little bit. And he sees that there's a theme in things that people want to hear, and I'm not singling him out, it's just an example. I'm not saying he's the great evil of the world, just, bear with me. But yeah, he sees perceived, or like what people perceive as valuable, and he just, okay, there's a market for it, so I'm going to provide what people want, what they value. I'll give it to them. But in turn, he goes back, and I think he's like a really smart guy. I think he cares about learning a lot. I think he thinks in a more complicated, intricate way than he gives off. And I don't think he thinks about the things he talks about in his music, and I don't think he has the same level of analysis that he puts off in his real mind that he puts off in his music. And to me, that's kind of like concealing knowledge. That's kind of like keeping people from the truth. And I mean, I'm not blaming him, because ultimately people don't care about that stuff. They don't want to hear it. And I'm not accusing you of being an evil person if you like owls, or if you have a tattoo of an owl or something. I personally wouldn't do that, but I'm not, I don't care if you have one. I'm not going to like ask the government to make it a law to be illegal for you to get one. I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. I believe in free will, believe in personal personal responsibility and free will. But yeah, to me it all fits together nicely. If light is knowledge and information, and the owl is a night predator, it preys on those who can't see in the dark, who have no knowledge, so they don't know what they're doing. They're spinning around in circles. Same action, same thought process, same behavior, same outcome, and the owl and then this guy knows what's going on, and he understands how things work, so it creates a power differential. Like, it's like if you're playing a game with someone and they don't know how to play it, are you going to beat them? Yeah, probably. They don't know the buttons, they don't know the controls, but you know the controls, you know the buttons. Yeah, you're at a huge advantage. And would it be kind of messed up for you to like not tell them? I mean, in the context of like two friends playing a video game, not really. I mean, but like, when it comes down to like people's lack of knowledge causing them to inflict suffering on themselves and everyone around them, and then it being bad for the country and the world, yeah, it is a little messed up. And this is what these people do. They're classic. That's when you take all the conspiracies back, all of them back, you pull it back. David Icke said this. One of the fundamental problems is it comes down to the manipulation of human perception. They want to tell you, they want to give you some false information or false knowledge about yourself and the world and your place in it and how it is and how it works, and what's possible for you and what's possible for the world. They want to say that for you. They want to tell that for you. And again, I want to point out they can only do this because people abdicate responsibility. That's only possible because people do that. So again, I can't really blame them. It's like, if you're gonna pass on your responsibility to like acquire knowledge to somebody else, if you're gonna pass that on to something or something like the government, don't be mad when you end up brainwashed. That's what happens. You got to take responsibility, and that's my ultimate point always at the end of the day. But like David Icke said, it's about the manipulation of human perception, and that's what they want to do. They want to give you certain information so you see things in a certain way, and you'll act in a certain way based on that information and those beliefs that they've kind of implanted in your head. It's kind of like brainwashing. And I consider that kind of evil. And I get it, you know, people are complicit, people don't care, and that's why it can continue. But this is real stuff. And and to me that slots nicely and perfectly with the actual nature of a physical owl in the world. It makes perfect sense to me. I hope that makes sense to you guys. That's just something I've been thinking about, I've been noticing. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching.